Hey guys, back again with another review. This time it's of the third sequel, Bride of Chucky, which to be honest with you, it takes it in a kind of new direction. Not a bad direction, but not the same kind of horror dimension. I mean, the third movie of the Child's Play film was kind of not really that great when you think about the first two. And this one kind of brings more of a comedy to it and more fun than just a straight up horror. So anyway, it was Bride of Chucky was made in 1998. It was directed by Ronnie Yu, who also directed Freddy vs. Jason and Fearless, as well as some other stuff. The writer was Don Manucci, who did the other ones as well, so you know you're on the right track. It starred Jennifer Tilly, Brad Dourif reprising his role as Chucky, Katherine Heigl as Jade, Nick Stabile as Jesse, Alexis Arquette as Damien, Golden Michael Wolbert as David, John Ritter as Chief Warren Kincaid, Lawrence Dane as Lieutenant Preston. So basically it starts with Bailey, a police officer, going through an evidence locker, and while they're scanning through it while he's walking through there, you see a Michael Myers mask, you see a kind of Jason Voorhees mask. So there's hints at the thing, there's hints and kind of, homage things there to make you go, oh look, that's there. So he gets the bag and he's driving off, and he makes a phone call to Tiffany, who's played by Jennifer Tilly, and he almost crashes. So he pulls out in this old looking warehouse thing and he's saying about how he wants his money, and all of a sudden his throat gets slit. Now, then you see from behind the car, from like the feet underneath the car, you see Tiffany, and it's her kid. It's just kind of, she's hot in her own way, I guess. She gets the bag, she looks in it, and she goes, ooh. Then you see her get home, and she does this, like voodoo chanting spell, a bit like how Charles Lee Ray did in the first one to try and bring Chucky back, because she sews him back together and makes him back who he is. And it doesn't work, or she thinks it doesn't work. Then she gets a knock on the door, and it's her boyfriend Damien, played by Alexis Arquette. So he basically goes, oh, when we're going to have sex, we've never had sex, oh, and all this. And she realises Chucky's gone. So she tries to get Damien basically to get killed by looking under stuff. And you get some jump bits, like when the spider falls on him. It's not a jump bit for me, but some people would jump from that or scared of spiders. And so she ends up handcuffing him to the bed and sitting Charles Lee Ray, Chucky, on top of him. So she starts dancing for him and she goes, I never told you something, Damien, about Chucky. He's really jealous and all this. So eventually Chucky turns his head round and decides to suffocate Damien with a pillow while sitting on top of his face, talking to Tiffany about did she miss him and stuff like that. And it's kind of interesting because I like the dull animations in this film. I don't know you'd say it properly, but I like the animations of Chucky because the face moves and everything. I like that. So basically that happens, then she locks him away in like a cage and she mocks him by giving him another doll, a female doll, which she throws in there. And it says, I want to be your wife and stuff like that. And I will marry you. And it's like just like the same as the good guy doll, except the female version that's getting married kind of thing. So he gets out using the ring on the doll. And he tries to kill her, she kicks him away, and then she ends up getting electrocuted. He brings her back in that doll. And now she gets the Bride of Chucky, basically. And so they go around together killing people. But what happens is she contacts Jesse. See, Jesse and Jade, they're in love. But Warren, this is a part of the other story on the other side that connects them. Warren, who I think is like a ward or something, he doesn't like Jesse, and he's very protective. So he gets Lieutenant Preston to basically follow him and all this stuff, and he tells her she can't be with him. Well, Warren goes to the van, which is Jesse's, and he has a look around, and basically Chucky kills him with these nails. Like, they knock it down, it goes right in his face, and they end up shutting him away. But Chucky actually says this reminds him of someone, which is like a homage to Hellraiser. So going on with the story, they put Warren in the like in his trunk in the van, and they end up on their way because Jesse and Jade believe that they're being paid to take Chucky and Tiffany with them to wherever they're going, to this place, because they're trying to escape from Warren, because they don't know Warren's dead. So they drive around, and truly but true, they end up stopping at places, and Chucky ends up killing people. Like, they stop because Lieutenant Preston pulls him over, and he goes to the car and sets a rag on fire in the gasoline tank area. Another friend gets run over. They throw a champagne bottle up to the ceiling but knocks the glass. It goes flying down, kills 2 people. And Tiffany wants to kill them because they stole the wallet and money from Jade and Jesse. So all that happens, and it's quite an interesting, fun film. It's not as fun as the original Child's Play, not because it's not fun, but because it's not horror like the first one, in my view. It's just like, it reminds me of Puppet Master in the fact that obviously the dolls are different to the puppets, but it reminds me of the fact that you enjoy the first one a hell of a lot. You enjoy the second one, but then you get the ones which become more comedy and don't become so serious. And I like that to a degree, but I don't like that all the time. So, but the film is good. So, going forward, eventually Jade and Jesse find out that Chucky and Tiffany are alive. So they hold them hostage basically, and Tiffany's making food, and Chucky's holding the gun at Jesse, and Jesse says, "Oh, she's not house cleaned, is she? Because she hasn't cleaned the plates." So Chucky goes, and says it. Then they get an argument, and Jade ends up kicking Tiffany into the oven, and Chucky goes mental and ends up getting pushed right out the window. And then Jesse crashes because, they can't just get away. They have to crash. So Chucky gets hold of Jade basically, and he makes her run off with him basically to where he's buried. And it's really funny because when people run off with Chucky, it always looks like they're just holding a doll as they're running away. It's so funny. So then you see that Tiffany's still alive, but she's burnt like as a crisp, basically. So Jesse grabs hold of her by the hair and runs after them, and you remember going, and I was in tears of laughter at that. So they're running along, and they get to the grave, and basically, for some reason, Chucky chose the way he's trying to get back to his body, even though it's skeleton, all bones, So there's this whole thing, and then basically they have to do a switch over, and Tiffany turns on Chucky, and Chucky ends up stabbing her through the stomach. And you're like, okay, that's love for you. So Chucky ends up stuck in the hole with his body. And his police officer turns up and goes, bloody hell, what's that? And Jay shoots Chucky and kills him after he says, you can kill me, but I'll always be back. So he dies, or as you think dies, because he's going to come back. And you've got Tiffany laying on the floor. So the police officer's looking at him, looking at her, like this. And all of a sudden, blood spurts out, and the baby doll is born. Going like this. And that's when the film ends. Now, I like the ending of the film with the baby, even though it's a bit silly, but I really believe they really ruined it in the Seed of Chucky. So in the Seed of Chucky, the baby doll, who was like a little kid, turns out to wonder what his sexuality is. And you just sit there going, yeah, are you a boy, are you a girl? Nobody cares because you're a doll. So I'll be reviewing that eventually, probably today or tomorrow or something. But yeah, overall the film's alright. I enjoyed the performances. I think Jennifer Tilly was great because her character at the beginning, when she sees certain things, you can tell that the character's kind of getting excited, turned on by it. And when you see her in the doll form, she's getting excited that way as well. So they kept the character the same. They didn't just change it because they couldn't. Like, there's a scene where she sees Chucky killing the police officer by putting the rag in the tank, the petrol tank. And she's getting really excited. You can see it in the eyes. So a little bit later on in the movie, there's a bit after they kill the couple. but were stealing, where Tiffany and Chucky have sex. And she says to him, have you got a rubber? And he goes, I'm all rubber. And they're jokes that are funny, but at the same time they're not, obviously, because they're a bit, meh. But, so apparently she got pregnant from them having sex. So that was a bit weird, but I guess that has to do with the black magic. They do say he does become more and more human, even though he's got big massive scars on his face now. So yeah, overall the film was a great load of fun. I highly enjoyed it. I thought that Katherine Heigl was great in it, and I thought that everybody played their role pretty well. I would have liked to have seen more of John Ritter, to be honest. Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. I thought it was well acted. I thought the characters were okay. I forgot to say, there's this bit where their friend David turns up at the hotel. And he goes, I know you guys didn't do it, guys, and all this, and they're all happy, and they're like, thanks for sorting us out, David. And he looks in the trunk and he finds woman dead. So he pulls out a gun, gets out the back. A police officer sees him, in a car, and starts driving towards him. And Chucky and Tiffany go, well, hey, and he moves back and gets hit by his truck. I thought that was a pretty good shot. No, I really enjoyed that. So overall, I'd give this a recommendation. I'd say give it a watch. Avoid number 3. Watch 1, 2, Bride of Chucky. It won't be the same as the other two, but it's still a lot of fun. And you don't have to deal with the most boring kids or stupid storylines going. So it's okay. The movie's alright. I recommend giving it a watch. Watch 1, 2, and then watch Bride of Chucky, because number 3 is terrible. And avoid See the Chucky if you can as well. Ugh. But anyway. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Take care and have a lovely, lovely day.